OK, Matt Dronfield is the Managing Director of Debt Free Advice, a charity which gives free and expert advice to individuals with problem debt. Thanks for joining us on the show today. So what kind of people are you talking to at the moment? What kinds of difficulties are they facing? We're hearing about food and the basics becoming an increasing problem. More and more people are just about managing.
You're absolutely right. Debt-free advice has been providing our free and impartial advice for more than 17 years now. Our advisors have never been busier supporting people who are already working really, really hard. You know, often there's this idea or concept that people that need debt advice or are struggling financially is because they're not working hard enough or they're relying too much on the state for benefits. For our customers, that simply isn't the case. We have seen a really big increase in what we refer to as our COVID heroes, our teachers, our nurses, our supermarket workers even, that are already doing 40, 50 hours a week, but are still struggling to meet their high living costs. And people come to us with so many debts now. 2/3 of our customers are coming to us with a debt around their housing, be that their rent or their mortgage, and indeed council tax. We're also seeing a massive increase in the number of people we're having to refer to food banks. So the situation is really worrying.
And then at the same time, you've got the Prime Minister saying there's light at the end of the tunnel. But for the people you're talking about, Matt, it's a very long tunnel.
That is the question. If the light's at the end of the tunnel, where does the tunnel end? Because our customers have been struggling for years now. And as I said, they're already juggling multiple jobs. They're often doing childcare or looking after elderly relatives as well. There's only so much our advisors can advise on. We can work with people to maximise their income, looking at benefits that somebody might be entitled to, but might not be claiming. There are also from the utility providers unknown grants that may be available through the trusts that they have that customers might be eligible to but are not widely known about. So our advisors can apply for those grants on customers' behalf. What free and impartial debt advice can also do is work with the creditors, the people that you owe money to negotiate a payment plan, or if it's debt that might not be in your name. We often see many customers that come to us where an ex-partner has taken out a line of credit in their name without their knowledge. We can negotiate on their behalf as well, directly with the creditors, with their permission, to work down those costs, to make sure that you're only paying back what you owe and you're paying back what is affordable to you, to make sure that you've got enough to live on as well, right?
Matt, Liam Halligan there was talking about there's no light at the end of the tunnel in terms of interest rate rises for mortgages for homeowners. I'm old enough to remember the sort of sky-high rates of the 80s when repossessions started to become a big issue. How many people would you say are coming to you with real concerns about being able to pay their rent or to pay their mortgage, and how much of an expansion have you seen?
So we have seen a massive increase. Since the beginning of this year, we've seen a 65% increase in the number of people ringing our free phone helpline for that free and impartial advice. And 2/3 of those are coming to us with debts relating to their housing costs, either their mortgage or their rents. And as much as banks are doing much as possible to support people who are mortgage customers in terms of being able to defer your payments or switch from a capital payment to an interest payment, there isn't any protection for those that are renting, and landlords are very likely, if not probably, to pass those increased costs onto their tenants. So that's a concern for the biggest chunk of the people that turn to us for help around those that rent.
Matt Dronfield, Managing Director of Debt Free Advice, really appreciate your input this afternoon. Thanks so much. And I think that's one of the main things, is that if you are struggling, talk to somebody. Do not struggle alone. Yeah, because talking will help, and then people will put you in touch with others, and there always is help out there.
Yeah, and there is that sort of sense of shame that I've failed, but that's not the case. You know, people have been being pinched at both ends by rising prices of food, basics, bills, and also being squeezed on mortgage rates. And more ordinary people, hard-working, respectable taxpayers, have been dragged into this conundrum. There's nothing to be ashamed of about that.
Absolutely. We sound like your mother, don't we?
Yeah, exactly.
We do mean it. Right, do stay with us here on GB News. We will be live in Dover for the latest on the small boat crisis. Don't go anywhere.